my morning car chat from New Hampshire. And today is a rainy day. I was out last night and they had signs on the side of the road that said winter weather. Usually that means snow or ice or something along that line. But we have some rain. We have puddles, we have clouds, and it looks like a dreary day. But it's a really good day to go to school and get schoolwork done so that we can, I don't know. When I homeschooled, it was like, okay, it's raining out, we can do school. And then when it's nice out, we could go out, go for a little walk, hike, something like that. So I guess I think of a rainy day as just a day. Hey, no better day than to go to school. So here I am, headed to school this morning, and I'm a teacher. I teach math, and I also have lots of interests. Yesterday, I made a video for some of my students, and I can. An easy way to do a video would be to put it on YouTube and just send the link to the parents, because that way it's stored online, as opposed to if I do a Zoom video, then I have to do it on Zoom, wait till it downloads, send them the link. It doesn't always work, and it's only one place to find it. But if I put it on my channel, they can find it there a little easier. And it was going to be private because, I know not everybody wants to watch factoring and algebra, but then it's harder to find if they lose the link or something. So I went ahead and just put it up there. And so I know it's going to probably wreck the algorithm because nobody wants to watch factoring. But maybe they will, right? So it's a good way to utilize YouTube. It might not be the way that you're going to make tons of money, but it's a useful way to use the platform. So I did that yesterday because I had a couple students that were kind of struggling with the concept, and I figured I could send them a YouTube video from someone else, and it might be the same thing to me, but maybe to them it's not consistent. There might be something a little different. So I figured, okay, I'll just make the video myself. So that's what I did. Hey, Kelly, good morning. How's the weather where you are? It's pretty cold and rainy. And gas is still at about $2.69 per gallon. Posting my old videos from the OutSchool Flex class. Yeah, I noticed that you are putting some videos up. And education really is the key in this society right now. I was just watching a video of a teacher who, she was a teacher, she taught reading, and then she had two of her own children that struggled with reading. And she was using the same things, the methods that she used in the public school. And she's like, why are my kids not reading? And then she realized maybe it's the method. So she changed the method to a method that is for dyslexic children. I don't know why there's so many dyslexic children these days, but it seems to be something that is happening. And, for dyslexia, I hear that there's a special way that they can be taught that helps them. And that, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. My name's Cindy, and I'm a teacher. And this is my morning car chat to share the weather in New Hampshire and just to talk a little bit about education. But I just wanted to say that when I was watching that teacher talking about education, there's not more dyslexic children. They are more dyslexic children getting the right diagnosis. Okay. So we're hearing more about dyslexia because maybe they were silent before. But the truth is there's a lot less readers nowadays. So that is a fact. kids aren't reading with the proficiency that they used to be. And maybe it's not that they're dyslexic, but something else is going on. But when I went to school, we did the phonics program, and I don't know, it worked for me. But I was always kind of a slow reader. Like, I wasn't a really majorly fast reader, but it takes patience to sit there and read. And I feel like that's part of the problem nowadays is everything's so fast, so instant, and it's hard for kids to slow down and sit down and read a book, and they think it has to be instant. I'm hearing that they like the graphic novels, but I'm not thrilled with the graphic novels. I've always been told that when you read the book, your brain engages in a different way and you're imagining what's happening. And that's good for your brain. So you're doing more than just reading. You're thinking, you're picturing, you're imagining. And the describing words are just working together to give you good brain exercise. And if you read a graphic novel, you get a picture and a few words. Honestly, they're a bit confusing to me, I will say, because I don't really prefer that method of reading. So, but I hear that the kids are really into the graphic novels. Hello, thank you for coming. I am good. How are you, Teacher Cindy? Oh, I am good. I'm on my way to school. So, what do you think about the graphic novels? I mean, people are like, I'm just glad to see the kid has a book in his hand. But it's like, if you were a mother and your kid is time for breakfast and you just like give them some eggs and bacon and toast and maybe some fruit for a well-balanced meal, and it's not lollipop. Are we just glad that they're eating, or do we think maybe there's something better that they should be eating? And I think a lot of times nowadays we're giving kids the freedom to decide for themselves when they don't really even know what's best for them. That's why they have parents. I mean, my mother, she told me when to get up, what to wear, how to take care of myself, how to clean up after myself, and I just think that kids need guidance. They don't need to be just doing whatever they want. They need guidance, and they need parents that care enough to fight with them sometimes. It's cold. You need to wear a coat. I don't want to wear a coat. You need to put a coat on. It's cold out. You'll get a cold. And make them wear the coat. Or how about the shoes? They want to go out barefoot. We have to find shoes that they will wear to protect their feet. I mean, if we're just always letting kids do whatever they want, what is the future going to be like? I think a lot of the good things that happen in this world are because parents parent, and we need to say, hey, reading is hard sometimes. Leaving for work. Have a great day. Thank you. Reading is hard sometimes. It's hard to sit quietly and read a book. Maybe we should just work on having our kids sit quietly for 10 minutes. Now, when my kids were younger, we had a lot of children in the house. We homeschooled, and we always had nap time in the afternoon. And of course, they would not want to do nap time. So when they would get a little bit older and they weren't really falling asleep, I would just have them sit on their bed with a book or sit by me with a book or something. We would have quiet time. And if they didn't really want to read a book, then I'd be like, well, you have to do something quiet. You have to draw, or, you can look at a book, you can read the book, or you can just do something quietly, like where you are on your spot. A lot of times that's what it was, their spot. So, teach kids to be quiet and teach them to do things quietly. And, for sure, not everybody's going to be an amazing reader. I mean, everybody's different, but at least get them to that point of being able to do the minimal obligation of reading, because reading is something that we do all the time. And reading is a skill that everyone in America should be able to do. Since we do pay, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars for education, we should have a way that everyone can read. It's not like in the old days where people didn't have access to books, or they couldn't even pay for a teacher, or whatever the case may be. As far as the weather, going back to the weather, there is a little bit of slush on the road, which is interesting. So I'm driving a little slower because the conditions, it's a little weird. They probably aren't salting or anything. It's supposed to be in the 60s later today. So probably not thinking about clearing the roads. So it could be not so good driving conditions right now, which near my house, it didn't seem like this, but it is now. Yeah. So on another note for education, I read a little article about mental health. Mental health is all the talk these days. We have a small school in our town, and we have mental health professionals that we pay because, all the kids are struggling with their mental health, which I understand because 2020 was horrible. And I think that affected a lot of people in a lot of negative ways. And we're just trying to get over it, just move on. But, it was pretty traumatic for young children. And other things. Mental health of children is in jeopardy right now. And I read this article about how the crafts, grandma's crafts, to the rescue, knitting, crocheting, and what else do grandmas do? Cooking, maybe even cleaning. All of these types of skills that we say we're grandma are skills that can be part of the cure for mental health. I was reading a post the other day that children, their mental health is declining and they have an I hate myself attitude, which is extremely sad because kids usually, they just love life. My kids, whenever something bad would happen, my kids were there and just happy and playing, and they were a help to my mental health. And, some days were hard, but I just always loved watching kids play. Get kids back to playing tag and kickball and jump rope. All of those things help your mental health. Kids need to get back to playing like children. When I was a kid, we would go outside and we would play for hours. In my neighborhood, we had a group of kids that would play. We would play kickball. We would play tag. Did you guys ever play TV tag? That was kind of fun. And back then, a lot of the kids watched the same shows because we didn't have such huge access to the internet. And we played jump rope. I played Chinese jump rope a lot. Even inside my house, I could set it up on the chairs and play Chinese jump rope. And how about crocheting and knitting and all of those skills, that sewing, things that were done because of necessity a couple of generations ago. I mean, if you wanted mittens, you had to make them. If you wanted a new dress, you might have to just sew it yourself. And those types of things give us satisfaction. When you make something, you can be proud that you made it. You can give someone a gift. I love giving people gifts that I made. And you have, everybody's so happy when you spend time to make something for them. And those things improve your mental health. Sitting down, pursuing a project, creating something with your hands, and I'm sure even cooking. Cooking is something good too because, be creative with your cooking. I'm kind of like sick of cooking these days, but I've made a few things this week. I made stuffed shells with sauce and cheese. I made chicken with gravy and what else did I do with it? Oh, mashed potatoes and some cranberry sauce. That was really good. So just cooking, sometimes it gets to be mundane, just like, oh, I don't want to make another dinner, but it helps everyone. It helps your mental health. It helps those who you are cooking for, and it helps in every way. And we think, well, mental health is talking. Like if I just talk about this, I keep talking about this problem, I keep talking about it. It might help for a little bit, but at some point you have to just accept what is and move on. You can't change the past. You can only look forward. And sometimes our mental health is hindered because we're living in a problem that we need to just move on from and, do the work that it takes to move on from that problem. I'm not saying it isn't real because I have my issues as well, but we can't live in those moments. We have to move on and find a way to live in a better place. So thank you for coming to the video. I really appreciate it. And my channel is about teacher life, about education, lots of comments about education. What do I do in my free time? And connecting with other teacher friends, other parents, whatever that might be. And I appreciate your support for my channel. I do these car chats to kind of share the weather. I'm hoping to share some really nice sunny weather soon. And today it's kind of chilly and it's supposed to be in the 60s later today. So the idea in New Hampshire is you need to dress in layers. So you might be cold in the morning and then in the afternoon you might be kind of warm at the end of the day. So thank you so much, you guys, for coming to my channel. I appreciate your support. And I'm also a New Hampshire state representative, so I work at the State House once a week and hear a lot about what's going on in our state in every area. I'm particularly interested in the education and the welfare of children. That's kind of how I got into this position, is so that I could be a part of making things better for children. And the whole process has been a learning experience. So I'm really thankful for the opportunity, although I wish I could do more. People say, thank you for serving at the State House. And it's like, yeah, I wish I could do more. So yeah, thank you so much for coming to this channel. I really appreciate it. And I hope that the weather is good where you are. So it's kind of cold right now. We're on our way to school and I'm going to teach math today. I teach geometry and algebra 1. and 7th and 8th grade math. 7th and 8th grade math, it's a great opportunity to be able to teach students and prepare them for their high school classes. So I'm really thankful for being able to teach the junior high, and then I teach the same students. Some of the students I've had for 4 years now, and I've been able to see their progress all the way from 7th grade through the 10th grade, which is a really unique opportunity. And I love it. I'm thankful for it. And if I could have, in New Hampshire, we have Christian schools, which they're kind of like a ministry type of situation. And so they don't keep up with the status quo on funding and pay. But as a teacher, I don't get paid what the public schools would get paid, but it's worth it to me to be able to actually teach. And I do other things to supplement my income as well. So it's kind of a ministry, but it's also very rewarding because I'm able to teach in a unique situation. So thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And I also teach Zoom classes. So as I find out people that need help, I have Zoom tutoring. I'm also going to be looking for some students for the summer to be able to tutor. And I think my sweet spot is preparing students for Algebra 1 or doing Algebra 1. Those are my favorites. And I do have one student right now in the midst of all my busyness to work with, and it's been very rewarding, and I'm really appreciating the opportunity for that as well. So thank you so much for coming to this video. And yeah, I'm driving this morning in the rain in New Hampshire and on my way to school, and you can't really see much other than the car in front of me because there's lots of fog today. And on my channel, I talk a little bit about education. And recently in the State House, we have the State House, House of Representatives, passed a bill that would make it difficult. It's hard to explain, but we are talking about inappropriate pictures at the public school and in the books that they have. And there's a bill that is passed by the House and has to go through the other channels to see if it's going to be passed all the way through, that will make it so that if teachers have inappropriate pictures and topics for children, that they will be fined for that. And I've had a few people write to me and say, if this bill gets passed, the teachers will be in big trouble. Like they're gonna be treated like criminals. And I'm like, so that tells me that we have some stuff there that needs to come out, because there shouldn't be anything that kids are exposed to that is criminal activity. When we're talking about inappropriate photos, adult content is not for children. And that's part of the reason I got involved in this situation, is to protect children. And I think that if kids have problems and they need help, there are ways to do it without exposing them to things that will make matters worse or could make matters, start making matters bad. Maybe some kids don't have to worry about looking at that stuff. Why does every kid have to be exposed to junk? So clean up clean up the public schools. They don't need junk. They need to learn how to read. They need to learn how to write, do arithmetic. I was exposed to adult content at a very young age. That's very sad. I'm sorry. My 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 thought is to try to keep kids as innocent as possible. You know, let the parents do their best with their children. Some things do not need to be put in front of children. I know kids, my thing when my kids were younger was, you know, kid to kid stuff, you know. But when I was younger, I was the kind of person that if I knew something was bad, I would, you know, turn away from it. And a lot of times, if people know that you don't want to look at it, they don't make you look at it. But nowadays, it seems like it's the other way around. They know you haven't looked at it, they want to show you. So I don't know how we can clean it up, but I think that we should let teachers know that we're watching. We want to protect the children, and children need to know there's good and bad. And if they see something they shouldn't see and it's bad, to leave it alone because it could be harmful to them. And that's asking a lot of a child. But when they grow up and they become, 19 or 20, they might not know right from wrong if they were exposed to things at too young of an age. So that's my 2 cents. I know we can't control it all, we can't fix it all, but we can at least have a definition of right and wrong. My friend's fault, yeah. Thank you so much for coming to this video, and thank you for participating in the conversation. And I have had people reach out to me and appreciate speaking out on these things. And you know, it's hard when you speak out on something. You don't want to re-injure someone by bringing up something that's unpleasant, but you don't want to also just leave it alone and let it keep happening, you know? Let kids be kids. So I go back to my original discussion. Teach kids how to read. Teach kids how to write, do arithmetic. They will improve their mental health once they have things to do that are productive and they feel good about themselves. Teach them how to knit, crochet, do crafts, sew, cook. All of those things help students with their mental health. Allow kids to play tag, games. I have games at my school. It's a really fun game. It's kind of like Pictionary. I can't think of the name of it. It's like Pictionary, but you pass it from one person to the other, and that's really fun. It's kind of a group game that everybody can play. It's a lot of fun, and maybe we'll play that today at some point because it's a rainy day. And in my school, we have regular classes, but we also have some open times where we have study hall. If the kids don't have schoolwork, they might have they might have some free time, and we might play games and stuff. So we're on our way to school, and it's a rainy day. So sometimes at our school, because it's small, we are able to even take the high school kids out, let them run around, let them throw a football, play basketball. So there's different things kids can do to release their energy in a productive way. And at our school, we put the phones away in the morning, and then they get them from the office in the afternoon. So if they have to go back to their phone and talk to their parent about something, they can go to the office and check their phone. So my teacher knows those kids, but she can't say none of the kids are at advantage of rich parents. Yeah. Well, no matter which way you put it, I've heard people say things about kids whose parents are rich and kids whose parents are poor. It depends on who you're talking to. It's almost like, everybody's at a disadvantage of some sort. And that's the way it is. Nobody has a perfect life. Some people have wealthy parents, but maybe they're always traveling or maybe they're always working and they're not paying attention. They just throw money at the kid. Maybe the kid's parents are poor, but their parents are with them and willing to help them. They just don't have a lot of money. So I have a hard time with this economic thing that's the key to success. We're proving right now in the public schools that throwing money at education is not fixing anything. It is helping people make a living, like the teachers get more money and everybody gets more money, but it's not really educating the children. And there are small schools or even homeschools. Parents don't even get paid to have a homeschool. And a lot of those children are growing up respectful, well-rounded, good with their knowledge base and all of those things. So there is no secret to perfection. There will be no perfection on this earth. All we can do is do better. So do better. Let's do better. We can do better by these children by being honest with ourselves and being honest with the situation that we're in and making changes accordingly. Personally, I didn't put my kids in public school because I didn't really like it myself, and I was willing to make the sacrifice to do whatever it took to make sure they got a decent education. Not perfect, but nothing's perfect. You just do the best you can on this earth. So here we go. We're on our way. We're almost to school. Thank you so much for coming to this video. Thank you for the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Thank you for conversation. I appreciate it. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Have a great day.